Hello, everybody. Thank you again for joining me online today for a talk about application performance management and how AppDynamics Suite, a product of Cisco, help us to mitigate challenges in business application scope. My name is Viacheslav Isaev. I am lead software engineer at NIL. I'm very excited to welcome international auditorium from around the globe. Our today's webinar is about how AppDynamics Suite help us to mitigate challenges in the modern business application scope. Our webinar will consist from the following parts: introduction, AppDynamics, summary, and questions and answers. First, we will talk a bit about the business application performance management in general, and then we will deep dive to the AppDynamics and check how AppDynamics helps us in day-to-day problems. All businesses have defined goals. Most common goals are maintain and increase customer service and brand reputation, and increase revenue and profitability. As an example of target in the goal scope could be reduce downtime and reduce operational costs. The goals and targets could be relevant or obsolete, but most important, they must be measurable. Nowadays, the majority enterprises use the following architecture. At the top of the pyramid is a business. This is the ruler. It dictates requirements to all downward layers. Business processes manipulated by data to reach organization goals. Data must be collected, processed, and distributed between all the participants of the business process. To do that, organization uses application. Applications could be off-the-shelf, custom, or mixed. The applications are usually mapped to business functions. At the base of the pyramid, the technology lies. It could be deducted that efficiency increase at any of those layers leads to a business health improvement. A typical business application consists from the following components: front-end, back-end, database. At the left, we have end user of our system. They collaborate with front-end sends data to our back-end, and back-end utilizes database. It is a high-level and quite simplified architecture. Nowadays, clients expect faster responses with increasing levels of service. As a response to the demand, modern technology are significantly transforming traditional business models. Companies expand geographical areas and become cross-border. The dynamics of future requests is so high in modern world that we tend to reuse services or buy them from third-party providers, payment systems, notification systems, product and service catalogs. More and more organizations introduce modern software development techniques, which dictates constraints to software architecture to make software components loosely coupled, for example, microservices. Such tendency results in a diverse and complex ecosystem of technologies and infrastructure. Taking into account level of interconnectivity and variety of the platforms, understanding issues impacting performance and availability of the application becoming more difficult. Challenge starts from understanding of real-time application environment and ending by cross-team collaboration. While we are dealing with those challenges in some or other way, the business health is impacted, and usually in a negative way. Obviously, to minimize impact, we have to minimize mitigation time for the challenges. And this is where the application performance management comes to a stage. Application performance management is the monitoring and management of the performance and availability of software applications. Application performance management strives to detect and diagnose complex application performance problems to maintain an expected level of service. APM is the translation of IT metrics into business meaning, for example, value. APM products shall help us to measure and control execution of the organization goals. Gartner's APM model defines the following dimensions, which shall cover all aspects of business applications. First dimension is end user experience. From that point, a collaboration between user and application begins. User initiate business transactions, which are flows through application. That is why it is important to understand the real runtime application architecture, how the business transactions flow through the components of the system. What is happening inside components. All collected data must be analyzed and represented in a meaningful way. Application performance management shall cover and satisfy needs of all participants of a business process. To satisfy this, application performance management collects information relevant to all participants, correlates it, and displays it in the meaningful way so all participants would be on the same page. Today, I will talk about AppDynamics' approach to application performance management. AppDynamics is product of Cisco and a leading APM tool according to the Gartner Research 2019. AppDynamics provides an application and business monitoring platform which empowers world-largest enterprises to build and run applications which they need to thrive at today's world. NIL is a gold Cisco partner. We are helping with Cisco installations, and now we are coming also to the AppDynamics world to help you to install and configure epics for your needs. AppDynamics helps to monitor and manage application performance and availability. Keeping in mind application performance management dimensions, let's define interception points at which we would like to monitor data on a high level. It is our front-end, back-end, database, and network traffic between entities. Those points will be our data sources. To collect data, AppDynamics uses old-as-the-world techniques, spies. Nowadays, they called agents. Each agent is highly educated, trained, and specialized in a specific area, which are end-user monitoring, application monitoring, machine or server monitoring, database monitoring. Network of agents reports collected data to Application Intelligence Platform, the brain of the APM. Do not disclosure agents network, collected data, and simplify communication channels. Agents reports through a one-way HTTPS protocol. One-way directed connection simplifies agent network deployment and avoid bureaucracy for port opening. Intelligence platform consists from a set of services. It could be deployed on-prem or SaaS. This is an important difference from other application performance management solutions. Many of them provide only SaaS deployment. Thanks to the ability to be deployed on-prem, AppDynamics could be used in organizations which have specific requirements to data storing. Government institutions, banks, insurance companies, stocks exchange, airports, and others. In the modern world, it is very unproductive and expensive to use a human being as an agent. Agents are snippets of code or libraries which connects to execution environments and collects data from it. And user monitoring agents are divided on two main classes, browser and mobile. Browser UI agent is a JavaScript based. AppDynamics provides JavaScript library which must be loaded by the page. Code injection could be done manually or through a web proxy or payload balancer. Mobile end user agent requires injection at compile time. Application monitoring again can be implemented in two ways, by using agents or manual code instrumentation. When agents are used, no code instrumentation required. Agents connect to execution environment and collects data directly from it. Agents are available for the mostly used modern languages and frameworks, for example, Java, .NET, .NET Core, and others. Database agent is an independent Java application which is located on-prem and connects to the database. It requires special credential to access database statistic engine. Currently, majority of the popular database are supported. Nowadays, it is hard to imagine application which doesn't utilize power of cloud computing in one or other way. AppDynamics not only provides monitoring solutions for such popular cloud platforms like Amazon, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, yet also helps to migrate to the cloud business applications. One of the examples is Nasdaq, which used AppDynamics during their migration to Amazon Cloud. They were able to verify that migrated application works as expected and compare application performance before and after migrations. I'm inviting you to check this real use case on the official AppDynamics website. There are many products at the market which are able to extract and collect data, but there are few of them which can process and represent data in a meaningful way, so the right conclusions could be made. The power of AppDynamics is hidden inside of the intelligence platform, which provides sets of pre-configured rules. Those rules keep the data in a data lake, preventing it to deteriorate to a data swamp. And we start from server visibility. It speaks for itself. Here you can see server metrics, load average, CPU and memory utilization, network performance, running processes, and many others. Database visibility shows time spent in database, top 10 queries, blocking sessions, live view queries, and many others. And I think I know what you are thinking about. It looks like many other IT tools which show standard metrics in a different way. Indeed, those two screens are examples of standard metrics which AppDynamics collects from different platforms and technologies, but providing you with a single pane of glass, giving you visibility across everything. And this is not the main goal of the AppDynamics, by the way. Infrastructure monitoring is just a small part of its capabilities. Main area of the AppDynamics is to analyze business health, and it's done through business application analysis. Business application is a high-level container at AppDynamics. It contains a set of related entities which interacts to provide the service. Entities are business transactions, services, and infrastructure components. Organization might have as many applications as required. AppDynamics is able to track across application communication just in case it happens. Immediately after an agent installation, AppDynamics starts receiving a lot of data. The data is analyzed by the intelligence platform and results are represented at application dashboard. Summary dashboard includes data flow diagram and the extraction of the most essential metrics: overall load, response time, number of errors. Many of them clickable and can deliver extended information. During agent installation, each service gets a name. They are called nodes inside AppDynamics. Nodes are organized into tiers. Tier is a group of the nodes which executes the same code and delivers the same functionality. Tiers are represented by a green circle on the flow map. AppDynamics detects across-node communication and communication with external components. You can see external components surround tiers. From those, a complete view of the real application topology is created across public clouds, private clouds, on-premise, and hybrid environments. But why this data flows between those nodes and third-party services? A customer journey starts from the user interface. That is why it is important to know your customer, to know from where they are, what kind of devices, or which browser do they use. But the most important, to see how the system responds to the customer requests and actions. Each request from a user to the front end initiates a business transaction in systems like e-commerce, content portal, stock trading, or mobile banking applications. Business transactions represent the end-to-end cross-tier processing path, which is used to fulfill a request for a service provided by the application. Health of business transaction has a direct correlation with overall health of the business. AppDynamics provides pre-configured rules to detect business transactions. Tuning of business transaction detection is a part of AppDynamics customization process. In the real world, terms many different components in your application may interact to provide services to fulfill the following types of requests, like user login, searching for items, adding items to the cart, receiving a stock quote, buying or selling stocks. Those are all business transactions in terms of the AppDynamics. AppDynamics collects a set of metrics for each business transaction, response time, calls per minute, and others. Those metrics are used to determine important transactions and measure transaction health. For each transaction, AppDynamics calculates a dynamic baseline. All transactions which deviates from the baseline or includes exceptions are problematic. Problematic transactions, AppDynamics captures a business transaction snapshot. Snapshot includes extra information such as method codes, which are collected onto individual line of code, stack trace, and other useful information. Transaction debugging screen includes transaction flow map, which depicts all the nodes which participates in the specific transaction. You can see status of the nodes and communicate metrics and number of errors. You can see here number of nodes with a mixed technology, .NET, 2 Java nodes, Standard approach would require to do investigation on each node separately, using different monitoring tools and log browsers. Log into all these nodes and check what the problem is. AppDynamics collected data from all nodes, correlated it, and presented it visually. Visual representation facilitates problem spotting. For example, we can see that the call from the .NET node was executed in 35 seconds. Going down to the database, we can see that database performs normally. It's just 54 milliseconds, which is 0.2% from the overall transaction. And above, we can see a Java node which consumed 32 seconds to execute. To debug further, we can do a drill down inside this node. Node debugging window includes multiple tabs. One of them a call graph. On the call graph, you can see all the methods being executed during transactions. For each call, you can see execution time per method and exit calls to remote services. By clicking on an exit calls, it is possible to get details on external call. For example, like URL and extra information which was sent to the remote service. Business transactions could be organized to customer journeys and displayed at summary screen. From such screen, business health could be immediately understood. Dashboards are interactive, so in case of the problems, investigation could be started directly from business summary screen. After installation, AppDynamics provides standard dashboards. Some of them you saw. It is obviously they cannot cover all possible scenarios, and especially highly demanding customers. So AppDynamics provides a way to develop custom dashboards. There is also possibility to use a third-party dashboards like Grafana. Under the hood, dashboards have a powerful request language, namely AppDynamics query language. It has a lot of similarities with SQL language. AppDynamics provides powerful query editor. There is also visual builder available for queries. Results of a query could be immediately represented in a graphical way. For example, bar chart, pie chart, heat map, and other ways. So the data can be represented in the simplest yet visual, powerful way. Dashboards are needs-driven. They are developed as a response to users' demand. Thanks to AppDynamics, all participants can find relevant information at the same place. All information sources are correlated. That facilitates problem investigation and problem root cause determination. That eliminates finger pointing, increases feeling of responsibility in team members, and positively affects cross-team communication. AppDynamics makes monitoring proactive. Proactive monitoring includes three main components, which are health rules, policies, and actions. Health rules are used to determine status of metric. Actions are used to define an operation which must be executed. And policy is a glue between health rules and actions. So for example, if one node response time increases, the specific node could be rebooted. If disk space reaches limit, disk clean tool might be started. To secure actions, AppDynamics can also automatically request permissions for an action. For example, through email, which will be sent to a responsible person. And when permission is granted, action is taken. How fast transaction monitoring could be started in your case? To start enjoyed by the power of an application performance management, the following steps must be taken. First step would be to determine goals, define problematic areas where the help is needed. Next step is to install agents to collect data, and then we start utilizing this data, identifying key business transactions, establishing health rules, creating dashboards. AppDynamics is a simple to install and utilize power when you have a goal in your mind. It takes hours to start collecting data, discover runtime application architecture and business transactions. And it takes from 3 days to start getting the value from the AppDynamics implementation. With AppDynamics, developers and quality assurance are able to understand how their code performs in test and production environments. Operations professional can identify problems quickly and drive to rapid resolution. AppDynamics is a powerful tool which collects a lot of metrics and represents them in a meaningful way. AppDynamics is flexible, customizable, and extendable. It is able to fulfill demands of all participants of a business process. From code up to customer experience, AppDynamics gives you the visibility and intelligence needed to drive performance to your application experience and ultimately your business. AppDynamics is a part of Cisco vision for artificial operations, namely central nervous system for IT. With the central nervous system for IT, AppDynamics and Cisco empower business with artificial intelligence-powered insights and automation that help them take the right actions at exact the right time. That concludes my brief overview into application performance management and AppDynamics. It is hard to cover all functionality of such power tool as AppDynamics provided by Cisco. I would be glad to provide you more details and capabilities during face-to-face online sessions. We are continuing to questions and answer sessions, and I am inviting you to post your questions now. We got a couple questions. The first is how exactly do agents collect data from applications? As I mentioned, the agents, this is the snippets of code or libraries. In the simplest case and most powerful way, this is the profilers, which connects directly to execution, to the virtual machine, to the execution environment. For example, in that way, they implemented for the Java and .NET. And when they are connected as a profiler, obviously they are getting access to the all data down to the each line of code and also to the arguments of the methods which is called. This is how the AppDynamics collects data. Next question, does AppDynamics monitors code exceptions? Yes, it does. So by default, the AppDynamics intercept the code exceptions, but there are two possibilities. The code exceptions which are handled inside the business transaction, this is not an error. And there is another version when the code exception is unhandled. Obviously, that such transaction will be marked under erroneous and the extra information will be collected to debug such business transaction. What overhead does the agent have on the system, database, front-end, back-end? So this question includes three insights. For example, database agent collects to the native database statistic agent. It requests it a couple times per second. So it doesn't really force database to do extra processing. It just utilizes what the database already calculated. And the overhead will be probably around 2%, I think. For the backend, according to the AppDynamics website, it's from 5 up to 10%. For the front end, it's around 2% because this is the JavaScript which sends extra information to inside the AppDynamics, similar, for example, like the Google Statistics does. What are use cases for AppDynamics? Use cases, obviously, to monitor the business applications. When you have the complex applications, which are, for example, distributed, which are situated in different environments, like you have components on premise, you have components on clouds, and all these components collaborate. Then, for example, you have also third-party services like payment system, for example, or you need to access some catalogs to verify some information with these catalogs. In that case, AppDynamics will help you to monitor all these services, all the communication between them, immediately spot on problems like increasing latency, increasing number of errors, erroneous requests. That would be the main use case for the AppDynamics. Okay, does AppDynamics monitors crashes? Yes, it does. The AppDynamics agents could be configured to catch crashes of the virtual machines, to dump the heap in that cases, and even send it to the controller. How does AppDynamics discover transactions? This question leads us to the first one, which we discussed, how the agents collects the data. By default, agents listens to the incoming connections on the all services where they installed. Then when the incoming connection comes, agent checks if there is already an AppDynamics marker for a transaction. If there is no such marker, then AppDynamics treats it as a new transaction being started and adds special marker to the request and send this marker downwards to the all components. So that when the components on the lower level of the stack receives requests, it already knows that this is part of that transaction, of that business transaction. And then all this information from different agents comes to the intelligence platform, and the intelligence platform correlates all this data together to show us the flow map which we saw for the business transaction. And I think that was the last question. Okay, I think we conclude then on our question and answer session. I'm inviting you to check official website of AppDynamics product, from which many of this information were obtained, where you can find a lot of interesting use cases. And I would like to thank you for your interest in the application performance management topic and wish you happy winter holidays which are approaching. Please join us for our next webinar, which will take place already next year. Thank you.